The late autumn sun cast long golden rays over Arlington National Cemetery, bathing the endless rows of white headstones in a soft, reverent glow. A crisp wind carried the faint scent of fallen leaves and freshly turned soil, rustling through the solemn grounds. The plaza around the tomb of the unknown soldier was unusually crowded for a weekday. A mixture of veterans, families, students, and tourists assembled to witness a commemorative event, led by Alex Harper, a decorated Navy veteran turned activist. At the center of it all stood Sergeant Liam Brooks, 32 years old, a former Army Ranger with a battle-hardened frame, short dark hair and sharp, piercing eyes. His navy blue ceremonial uniform was immaculate, polished boots gleaming, and white gloves immaculate as he walked his 21 measured steps along the black mat. Each click of his heels resonated across the plaza, a rhythm born of endless drills, precise turns, and 21-second pauses, honoring those who had sacrificed everything. Though his face betrayed no emotion, his senses remained razor-sharp, scanning the crowd with a trained vigilance only years of combat could instill. Watching from the cemetery's high-tech control room was Lieutenant Rachel Nuan, a 29-year-old Air Force veteran with a keen intellect. Her dark hair was pulled into a practical bun, eyes glued to dozens of high-definition monitors that tracked every inch of the grounds. Her fingers flew across the keyboards, analyzing movements, reading micro-expressions and noting anomalies in the crowd. Today she detected something, a figure moving with purpose that didn't align with the otherwise respectful audience. Marcus Reed, 28, dressed in a black hoodie, jeans and a cap pulled low, blended into the throng, but his eyes darted rapidly, scanning for opportunities. A fully loaded Glock 19 rested in the deep pocket of his jacket, ready. As Alex Harper approached the podium, his voice strong and resonant, telling stories of fallen comrades and the enduring spirit of service, Marcus edged closer, weaving between the crowd. The mother in the front row adjusted her toddler on her hip, unaware of the brewing danger. An elderly veteran leaned on his cane, eyes misty as he listened, while students at the back snapped photos. Marcus's gaze fixed on Alex, his hand brushing against the cold metal of the pistol, fueled by delusions of righteous anger. Rachel's voice came softly through Liam's earpiece. Camera 4, male subject, black jacket, mid-20s, advancing toward podium, possible threat. Liam maintained his ceremonial composure outwardly, but internally, years of instinct took over. The subtle shift in Marcus's stance, the weight on his dominant side, and the faint smell of gun oil confirmed the danger. Every step Liam had taken along the black mat was now a mental rehearsal for what might come next. The crowd remained oblivious, murmuring in agreement with Alex's speech about unity, freedom, and honoring the fallen. Marcus's hand emerged from his pocket, the Glock catching a brief glint of sunlight. Time seemed to slow, and the plaza held its breath. Then, with a sudden motion, he raised the weapon and fired. The first bullet ricocheted harmlessly off the marble barrier behind the podium, sending tiny shards flying. Screams erupted as panic swept through the crowd. In less than 3 seconds, Liam acted. His white-gloved hands gripped the gun with trained precision, twisting the slide upward, ejecting the chambered round, and forcing the magazine to drop to the ground. Marcus staggered back, shocked, his empty hands grasping air. Security teams surged forward while Alex Harper ducked behind the podium, heart pounding but unharmed. The plaza's chaos gave way to awe and gratitude as the threat was neutralized. Rachel joined Liam on the plaza, firm handshake, acknowledgement passing silently between the two veterans. The crowd slowly regrouped, whispers of admiration filling the air. Alex Harper took the microphone again, voice steady, reminding everyone of the values the fallen had fought to protect. Outside, the autumn wind continued its gentle whisper through Arlington, carrying with it a timeless promise. Those who guard this sacred ground would always hold the line. The plaza settled into a tense, reverent quiet. Leaves swirled around scattered debris as Arlington's veterans, families, and students slowly picked themselves up from the ground. Sergeant Liam Brooks stood near the black mat, chest steady, hands still tingling from the rapid adrenaline surge. His uniform remained impeccable, but a faint sheen of sweat traced the line of his jaw. Around him, whispers of awe circulated, the crowd fully aware of the life-saving intervention they had just witnessed. Alex Harper regained his composure, straightening his suit and gripping the microphone. His voice carried a controlled urgency as he addressed the shaken audience. What we saw here today reminds us not only of the sacrifices made by those who came before, but also of the vigilance required in every generation. Courage is not just facing war abroad. It's standing resolute when danger appears in plain sight. His words drew nods and quiet applause, tempered by lingering shock. Marcus Reed was now on the ground, restrained by security teams and an elderly veteran who had stepped in with quiet authority. His face was flushed with rage and disbelief, but he was subdued enough to prevent further harm. Rachel Nuan, moving swiftly through the plaza, coordinated with backup and first responders, ensuring the suspect was secured and evidence documented. Her keen eyes scanned the scene, mentally cataloging every detail for official reports. The autumn sun dipped lower, shadows stretching across the plaza. Liam walked the short distance to the tomb of the unknown soldier, his steps measured, a silent reflection in the aftermath. The gravestone seemed to absorb the tension, holding a timeless calm that contrasted with the chaos just minutes before. His mind drifted momentarily to the tours he had endured in Afghanistan, the ambushes, the losses, the constant need for vigilance. Here, though the enemy was civilian, the same principles applied: awareness, precision, and self-discipline. Alex stepped down from the podium, moving toward Liam and Rachel. He offered a firm handshake, gratitude shining in his eyes. "Sergeant Brooks, Lieutenant Nuan, your quick thinking saved lives today. I don't think anyone in this plaza will forget what you did." Liam nodded subtly, acknowledging the compliment while keeping his focus on the sacred ground he guarded. Families began to gather their belongings, children clutching flags a little tighter, students quietly discussing the near tragedy, veterans murmuring respectful words to each other. Marcus was escorted away by law enforcement, his movement constrained but his gaze defiant. The plaza was slowly returning to a semblance of normalcy, yet the gravity of the moment lingered like the faint scent of autumn leaves. As Liam resumed his sentinel duties, his movements flawless, a part of him reflected on the unseen threads that connected this place to every moment in American history. The unknown soldiers lay in eternal rest, their sacrifices silent yet potent. And in protecting them, he realized, he was protecting the essence of the nation itself, a delicate, fragile honor that required unwavering guardianship. As the crowd slowly dispersed, the plaza still hummed with residual tension. Liam Brooks remained at his post, but his mind was already shifting to the next steps. The immediate threat was neutralized, yet the implications of Marcus Reed's actions were only beginning to unfold. He observed the scattered leaves, the glint of the ejected brass rounds on the marble, and the hushed conversations among the remaining visitors. Every detail was etched into his memory, a mental map of the incident. Lieutenant Rachel Nuan guided her team as they secured the area. Her eyes constantly flicked between live cameras and on-ground personnel. The control room was a flurry of activity. Evidence was cataloged, cameras checked, and first reports compiled. Rachel's fingers moved deftly across devices, overlaying thermal imaging with crowd movement analytics. She knew that one misstep in documentation could compromise both legal proceedings and the lessons learned for future threats. Alex Harper, standing near Liam, had regained his composure fully. His voice was quieter now, but his words carried weight as he spoke to journalists and attendees who lingered. "We were fortunate today. The bravery and professionalism displayed by Sergeant Brooks and Lieutenant Nuan ensured that no lives were lost. This reminds us that freedom demands vigilance, and vigilance demands readiness." In the shadows of the plaza, Marcus Reed was being processed by law enforcement. His posture was tense, his expression still seething but subdued. The evidence collected, his Glock, the magazines, and the social media data flagged by Rachel, painted a portrait of premeditated intent. The authorities moved carefully, aware that the public eye was on Arlington more than ever. Liam remained silent, his focus returning to ceremonial precision. The clicks of his polished boots echoed across the plaza as he resumed measured steps along the black mat. Yet internally, his thoughts were elsewhere, running tactical simulations and debriefs, reviewing the subtle movements Marcus had made that had indicated threat potential. His experience in Afghanistan, where danger often came from seemingly innocuous sources, proved invaluable. Even as dusk fell, stretching long shadows over the white headstones, the plaza retained a quiet reverence. Families who had witnessed the near tragedy whispered reassurances to one another, children still clutching small flags, their wide eyes absorbing the gravity of the situation. Veterans exchanged looks of solemn understanding, each silently acknowledging the delicate balance between honor, vigilance, and human vulnerability. Rachel walked toward Liam, her boots crunching softly on the scattered leaves. "Sergeant, I've reviewed the preliminary footage. Your response was textbook perfect. The suspect had no chance once you engaged. Every step, every hand movement, it was flawless." Liam nodded subtly, his expression unreadable, eyes flicking toward the tomb where the unknown soldiers rested. "Just doing my duty," he murmured, voice calm but steady. "For them." Alex concluded interviews and gathered the remaining crowd. He gestured toward Liam and Rachel, his respect evident. "Let's never forget that heroes aren't always on the battlefield overseas. Sometimes they stand silently among us, guarding what matters most." The audience offered a measured applause. The sound carried softly across the plaza, merging with the gentle autumn wind. The evening air settled over Arlington, crisp and tinged with the earthy scent of fallen leaves. Though the immediate threat had passed, a lingering tension clung to the plaza. Security teams remained vigilant, their presence more pronounced than ever, ensuring that no secondary threats could exploit the chaos. Liam Brooks, maintaining his post near the tomb of the unknown soldier, felt the weight of responsibility heavier than usual. Each measured step, each pause, resonated not only with ceremonial discipline but with the memory of recent danger. Lieutenant Rachel Nuan coordinated with the command center, compiling data from multiple camera angles, thermal imaging, and eyewitness accounts. The investigation into Marcus Reed's actions had only just begun, but preliminary findings painted a chilling picture. A civilian radicalized online, determined to commit violence in a sacred space. Rachel's mind raced through procedural checks, ensuring every protocol had been followed and that evidence was meticulously preserved. Meanwhile, news crews had arrived, their cameras and microphones capturing both the aftermath and the tension etched on every face in the plaza. Alex Harper spoke briefly, his voice calm but firm, explaining the incident to reporters while honoring the professionalism of Liam and Rachel. "This is a stark reminder," he said, "that threats to our freedom can appear anywhere, and we must remain vigilant without losing sight of our values and humanity." Families still lingered, some clutching children a little tighter, while veterans quietly shared looks of acknowledgement. The crowd's energy oscillated between relief and lingering fear. Liam observed all of it, his focus unwavering, knowing that even a single distraction could compromise security. Every shadow, every movement was catalogued mentally, a habit ingrained by years of combat and heightened vigilance as a tomb guard. Marcus Reed had been taken into custody, his hands secured behind him, his expression a mix of anger and disbelief. Rachel debriefed the responding officers, ensuring the Glock and magazines were collected for forensic analysis. The suspect's social media activity was flagged for potential links to further extremism, emphasizing the growing threat posed by digital radicalization. As night deepened, Liam resumed his ceremonial patrol, each click of his polished boots echoing across the marble plaza. The white headstones glimmered faintly in the soft glow of strategically placed lights, a solemn reminder of the sacrifices they symbolized. His mind wandered briefly to the principles he had sworn to uphold: honor, vigilance, and the unwavering protection of those who could no longer protect themselves. Alex Harper approached Liam and Rachel once more, a gesture of gratitude in his posture. "Your calm and decisive actions today prevented a tragedy," he said. "We owe a debt to your skill and courage." Liam responded with a subtle nod, eyes briefly glancing toward the tomb. "Just doing what must be done," he murmured, the quiet humility of a soldier resonating in his tone. The plaza gradually emptied, leaving only the echoes of footsteps, the rustling of leaves, and the lingering sense of both relief and solemnity. Arlington National Cemetery remained a place of reflection and honor, its guardians unwavering in their duty, ensuring that even in the face of modern threats, the legacy of sacrifice and vigilance endured. The following morning, Arlington National Cemetery buzzed with a different kind of energy. The plaza, now bathed in soft morning sunlight, bore the remnants of yesterday's tense events: scattered leaves, displaced security cones, and subtle marks where brass rounds had fallen. News crews had arrived early, cameras and microphones set up to capture the story of Sergeant Liam Brooks and Lieutenant Rachel Nuan's heroic actions. Alex Harper's speech from the previous day was being broadcast live across multiple networks. He recounted the near tragedy, emphasizing both the courage of the guards and the resilience of the public. "The dedication and professionalism we witnessed yesterday reminds us that freedom comes with vigilance, and courage manifests in both extraordinary and everyday acts," Alex told the cameras. his expression solemn yet resolute. Families who had been present the day before returned, some to pay respects at the tomb of the unknown soldier, others drawn by curiosity about the events. Veterans discussed the details in hushed tones, sharing insights with younger attendees and students who had documented the moment on their phones. Liam and Rachel observed from strategic positions, their expressions composed but alert, fully aware that public attention often brings unforeseen challenges. Meanwhile, law enforcement and security teams coordinated with federal authorities to review Marcus Reed's arrest, ensuring all evidence from the Glock to digital activity was meticulously logged. The investigation highlighted the dangers of online radicalization and the importance of trained personnel capable of rapid, precise action. Liam, though quiet, absorbed every detail, mentally cataloging potential improvements for future threat scenarios. Across the plaza, journalists interviewed both civilians and veterans. Emotions ran high, gratitude, awe, and lingering tension intertwined on every face. Children clutched small American flags, mimicking gestures of respect they had observed the day prior. The autumn sunlight reflected off the white headstones, casting long, solemn shadows that seemed to echo the collective memory of sacrifice and vigilance. Alex Harper moved among the crowd, shaking hands and offering words of reassurance. Liam continued his ceremonial steps, each turn, pause, and stride a symbol of enduring discipline. Rachel monitored the scene from the control room, her eyes scanning both live feeds and social interactions, ensuring that no incident went unnoticed. By midday, the plaza had transformed into a hub of respectful reflection and cautious observation. Social media erupted with images and videos of Liam's swift intervention, and interviews with Rachel highlighted the coordination required for such rapid response. The public's admiration for the guards was evident in every conversation, post, and glance. Yet Liam and Rachel remained focused, reminding themselves that vigilance was not for recognition, but for protection. As the sun began its descent in the late afternoon, casting a golden glow over the hallowed grounds, Liam and Rachel finally allowed themselves a moment of quiet reflection. The tomb of the unknown soldier stood as a steadfast reminder that honor, courage, and sacrifice transcend the boundaries of time. Despite the near tragedy, the spirit of resilience and unity remained strong among those who had witnessed the events firsthand. By late morning, Arlington had become the epicenter of national attention. Helicopters hovered above, capturing sweeping aerial views of the plaza, the tomb of the unknown soldier, and the surrounding cemetery grounds. News broadcasts ran continuous coverage, replaying the dramatic moment Marcus Reed had drawn his weapon and Sergeant Liam Brooks's rapid intervention. Every movement, expression, and gesture from the previous day was scrutinized by reporters, analysts, and social media commentators alike. Alex Harper held a series of press conferences, balancing his message of unity with careful acknowledgement of the danger that had been narrowly avoided. Yesterday was a wake-up call, he told cameras, not just about individual courage, but about the broader societal tensions that threaten public spaces and the safety of all citizens. The reporters pressed for details about security protocols, the suspect's background, and the response time of law enforcement. Inside the cemetery's control room, Lieutenant Rachel Nuan was a whirlwind of precision. Monitors displayed live feeds from surveillance cameras, while secure channels connected her to federal authorities, park rangers, and backup units. Her mind raced to anticipate questions from both the media and higher-ups, reviewing Marcus Reed's digital footprint, social media activity, and prior behavioral patterns. Meanwhile, Liam Brooks maintained ceremonial patrols, his stoic demeanor unbroken despite the growing attention. The eyes of the nation, the weight of historical symbolism, and the burden of accountability all pressed upon him, yet his focus remained unwavering. Every step along the black mat, every pivot and pause was executed with military precision. Observers commented on his composure, unaware of the invisible mental calculations and threat assessments running through his mind. Federal officials arrived to evaluate security protocols. They questioned both Liam and Rachel extensively, reviewing camera angles, response times, and tactical decisions. Liam explained the split-second judgment calls that had prevented a tragedy, emphasizing training, discipline, and coordinated communication as the pillars of effective action. Rachel highlighted the integration of digital surveillance with on-ground vigilance, demonstrating how the combination had provided early detection and immediate intervention. Outside the immediate operational sphere, the public engaged in heated debates. Social media platforms were ablaze with differing opinions, some lauding the heroism of the tomb guards, others critiquing security gaps, and still more analyzing Marcus Reed's motives. The coverage amplified tensions nationwide, reinforcing the need for vigilance not just at Arlington but in all public spaces. As the afternoon shadows lengthened, Liam allowed himself a rare moment to reflect on the human cost of vigilance. The weight of history, duty, and public scrutiny converged, yet the presence of the tomb of the unknown soldier remained a grounding force. It reminded him that while the modern world presented new challenges, the principles of honor, courage, and sacrifice were timeless and unyielding. By sunset, the plaza quieted, though helicopters continued to circle overhead, and the media's attention lingered. Liam and Rachel reviewed the day's reports together, acknowledging that the public's awareness had increased, but that so too had the need for continuous readiness. Even in moments of relative calm, the line between safety and chaos remained thin, and their vigilance was the bridge keeping it secure. By the following morning, the events at Arlington had captured the attention of the entire nation. Cable news networks ran live panels dissecting every detail of the previous day's near tragedy. Analysts debated the implications of Marcus Reed's attempted attack, the security measures at Arlington, and the broader societal unrest fueling such incidents. Headlines highlighted the courage of Sergeant Liam Brooks and Lieutenant Rachel Nuan, sparking conversations on social media that ranged from admiration to heated criticism. Alex Harper returned to the podium, now flanked by media crews and local law enforcement. His message emphasized unity and resilience while carefully acknowledging the national attention. "Yesterday, we witnessed an act that could have changed lives forever," he stated, his voice steady despite the pressure. "Yet it is through discipline, courage, and rapid response that tragedy was averted. We owe a debt to those who stand vigilant for the protection of our freedoms." Crowds gathered again in the plaza, a mix of curious onlookers, supportive patriots, veterans, and journalists. Many carried cameras or smartphones documenting every gesture and expression. Liam continued his ceremonial patrol, each step executed with perfection, embodying a symbol of calm amidst tension. Though his movements appeared measured and routine, every sense remained alert, scanning for the slightest irregularity. In the control room, Rachel coordinated with federal agencies, providing live updates and ensuring no unauthorized individuals approached sensitive areas. Her fingers flew across keyboards, toggling camera feeds, thermal imaging, and communication channels. She assessed the crowd, flagged suspicious behavior, and briefed backup units strategically positioned around the plaza. Meanwhile, political commentators debated the consequences of heightened visibility at Arlington. Some argued that increased media attention could invite copycat incidents, while others praised the efficiency of the tomb guard and security coordination. Social media posts surged with hashtags praising Liam's heroic actions, analyzing Marcus Reed's motives, and discussing the responsibilities of public figures and security personnel. As afternoon approached, tensions intensified with the arrival of protest groups, their signs and chants filling the plaza. Liam maintained his composed patrol, while Rachel updated law enforcement on their positions and potential threats. Alex Harper addressed the crowd, his voice projecting both authority and reassurance. "We honor those who protect us, not just in battle, but every day," he said. "Let us stand together, united in vigilance, respect, and resilience." Despite the heightened tension, Liam's presence radiated calm authority. Each ceremonial turn, pause, and stride reminded onlookers of the discipline that had prevented disaster. Rachel monitored every angle, ready to coordinate immediate response if necessary. Together, their teamwork demonstrated the blend of human skill, training, and technology that ensured public safety, even under intense scrutiny. As sunset bathed Arlington in golden light, the plaza gradually emptied. Media teams packed up, protest groups dispersed, and the crowd's murmurs of admiration lingered in the crisp autumn air. Liam and Rachel exchanged a brief nod, acknowledging the weight of the day and the enduring responsibility they carried. The tomb of the unknown soldier remained a steadfast symbol of sacrifice, courage, and unwavering vigilance, an eternal reminder that heroes often operate in the quiet moments between chaos and order. As twilight deepened over Arlington, a serene calm replaced the tension that had gripped the plaza for nearly 2 days. The national spotlight had moved on to other stories, but the echoes of yesterday's near tragedy lingered in the minds of those who had witnessed it firsthand. Liam Brooks continued his solemn patrol at the tomb of the unknown soldier, each 21-step cycle a reminder that vigilance never truly rested. His expression remained stoic, yet inside, a quiet pride settled. The training, instincts, and discipline he had honed over years of service had preserved lives and safeguarded history. Lieutenant Rachel Nuan, stepping out from the control room, joined Liam on the plaza. The air was crisp, carrying the scent of fallen leaves and the faint trace of marble dust from the monument. Their steps echoed softly on the black mat as they observed the emptying plaza, the whispers of previous crowds now replaced by the gentle rustle of the autumn wind. She offered a nod of respect, acknowledging not only Liam's heroism, but the enduring weight of their shared responsibility. Alex Harper returned once more to address a small group of veterans and local supporters who had lingered, their faces etched with relief and admiration. "Yesterday tested us in ways we could not foresee," he said, voice low yet firm. "But through courage, preparation, and unity, we prevailed. Let this be a reminder that freedom is safeguarded not just in war, but in the quiet vigilance of those who stand watch every day." The crowd listened in hushed reverence, their expressions a mixture of awe, contemplation, and gratitude. A young boy, clutching a miniature flag, stared wide-eyed at Liam, inspired by the display of composure and precision. An elderly veteran, leaning on a cane adorned with a Purple Heart ribbon, whispered to his companion, "That man embodies the spirit we fought to protect." Even the journalists, cameras momentarily lowered, shared a silent acknowledgement of the discipline and bravery that had prevented catastrophe. In the fading light, shadows stretched across the plaza. Liam's eyes swept the horizon, ever vigilant yet mindful of the profound symbolism of his post. Each turn, each pause, was a silent testament to the sacrifices of countless soldiers whose names were unknown, yet whose legacies endured in monuments and rituals, and in the hearts of those committed to honor them. Rachel glanced at the monitors one last time before shutting down the control room, her gaze catching the glow of the tomb in the twilight. "It's not just about prevention," she murmured to Liam. "It's about preserving the memory, the values, the very spirit of what they stood for." Liam returned a solemn nod, understanding that their actions yesterday would ripple through countless stories, news reports, and personal reflections. As the stars began to shimmer above Arlington, the plaza emptied completely. Liam resumed his patrol in the quiet night, the rhythmic cadence of his boots a metronome for reflection, courage, and resilience. The tomb of the unknown soldier remained a beacon, a steadfast reminder that despite division, threats, and uncertainty, guardians of honor and freedom would always hold the line. The nation would remember the near tragedy, but more importantly, they would remember the discipline, courage, and unyielding dedication of those who stood watch. The legacy of vigilance, unity, and sacrifice would endure, an eternal promise beneath the autumn stars.